What's going on, guys? You already know who I am. Rich has already introduced himself. So we're in day 8. So that means that you're in chapter 8 of the book of John. It's a good chapter. It's got a lot of things in there. I just want to focus in on one or two things. And I'm not going to try to take too much time because I know your time is valuable. But the verses that I want you to key in on is verses 1 through 12. Like I said, I'm not going to read them all. I just want to pull out some stuff in them. Like in verse 4, it says, they said unto him, and these are the Pharisees, they said unto, and the scribes, they said unto the master, this woman was taken in adultery, in the very act. So we know we're talking about the woman that was caught in adultery. The next verse, which is verse 5, says, now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. But what say thou? Okay. The next verse says, this they said, tempting him, that they might have to accuse him. But Jesus stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground as though he heard them not. Now I want you to picture in your mind his position. He's standing up when they bring the woman, right? And then he kneels down because what they're asking him is they're spiritually putting themselves above him. So he physically puts himself below them because he kneels down. So now they're looking down at him like they have the authority, which is what they have in their mind, and he's going to just play along with it. Okay, since you think you're spiritually superior to me, I'm going to physically put myself under. So this is where he puts himself. The next verse says, so when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, he that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. So now he elevates himself at their level and says, okay, which one of you doesn't have any sin? Go ahead and be the first one, because he's the authority. The next thing he does is he bends right back down. So they could feel lofty and say, okay, now I'm going to tell you why I don't have to throw the stone. But he doesn't let them get that far. The next verse says, and again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. That's significant. This is the only time in Scripture that we have Jesus writing anything. And he wrote it, and I'm going to let you, in Jeremiah, there's a part that says what he might have wrote. But I don't want to get into that just yet. The next verse says, and they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the elder, even unto the least. And Jesus was left alone. I'm going to leave the last section of that for a minute. The verse in Jeremiah, it's Jeremiah 17:13, says this, O Lord, the hope of Israel, all that forsake thee shall be ashamed, and they that depart from me shall be written on the earth, because they have forsaken the Lord, the fountain of living water. So I believe what he wrote on the ground, because they left one by one, and the elders, which I guess have more wisdom than the younger ones, is their name and their sin. So he says, before you start giving me excuses, let me let you know that I know who you are and I know what you've done. Now cast the stone. Just like he talks to us. Before we judge anybody, he wants to take care of us and what we've done. And if we're truthful, then we need to move from that. Because he knows everything about us. This is the thing, the woman. Because she's standing up, he's still down on the ground, giving her a place of authority. Then he asked her, where are your accusers? Are they here? She said, no, no man accused me, Lord. And then he said to her, neither do I, the only one that can accuse her. And then he says, go and sin no more. That's what I'm going to leave you with. See what it is you have that displeases God. Move away from it because he's not excusing it. Keep that in your mind. Remember to stay strong, stay focused, and stay safe. God bless.